Hi, I'm Deb McFarland, and I'm here to share some information with you. I recently went to the National Presidential Nominating Convention in Chicago, Illinois. Now let me tell you, that was something else. I learned a lot. I went up there expecting to meet a lot of important people, but instead I found that the leaders and participants of the National Green Party were just people like me and you. They have ordinary jobs, pay bills, and are trying to make our nation a better place for us all. The main thing I've noticed about running for an office on the Green Party ticket is when you mention you belong to the Green Party, people inevitably snicker, or they'll say, "I wouldn't vote for anyone in that party, they are whatever." There are a lot of misconceptions about the Green Party of America. I would like to address some of these misconceptions and concerns by sharing some sections from our latest party platform. Through the link on my website, deb2008.org, you can find the entire document to check it out for yourself. But here are some things that I think are worth knowing. To start with, the Green Party strives to be environmentalists, advocates for social justice, and just plain regular people who've had enough of corporate-dominated politics. We, the citizens, are the government and must not permit the taking of our authority by individuals and government agencies that isolate or insulate government from our oversight and control. The true owners of the public lands, public pension funds, and the public airwaves are the American people, who today have little or no control over their own property. When we talk about public lands and airwaves, we're talking about your property. We oppose any major changes to Social Security, such as privatization, and would like to see its effectiveness expanded. We support increasing the role of independent oversight agencies, such as the General Accounting Office. These are the watchdog groups that keep government in line. One of the problems that we see is the Electoral College. It's an 18th century anachronism. We would like to see a constitutional amendment abolishing the Electoral College and providing for direct election of the President. We would like to prohibit U.S. corporations from avoiding or evading payment of their taxes by banking abroad or locating their charter offshore. This has been one of the ways that corporations have prospered from but have not supported their government. Their tax money could bring a lot of programs a long way. We also support economic equality. Nationally, women still only earn 70% of what their male counterparts earn for the same jobs. We would like to see the introduction and passage of federal and state laws to achieve pay equity and funding for the enforcement of such laws. It would be really nice if the employers would do this voluntarily, but apparently that's not going to happen. Now, the war in our soldiers is another topic that the Green Party is misunderstood about. We are all about peace, but we are not about sitting here passively while another nation takes over our nation. We don't want to be in a war, but we support our soldiers serving in the military wholeheartedly. We feel that they need an increase in the current pay levels, monthly imminent danger pay, and family separation allowances for those risking their lives in combat zones. We feel like the U.S. military should provide better care for the wounded, sick, and injured soldiers returning home. The Pentagon must take all steps necessary to fully diagnose and treat both physical and mental health conditions resulting from service in all combat zones. We also need to restore full funding for veterans' health. These soldiers, after returning from a combat zone, need help adjusting and starting their lives over again. They need our support and assistance. We also feel that teachers are underpaid, overworked, and rarely supplied with the resources necessary to do their work. It's time to place education at the top of our social and economic agenda. The Leave No Child Behind Act must be repealed. In the rush to increase our children's education, what started out as a good idea turned into a very bad deal. We are pushing all of our children to be average and fit into a certain mold. We support the indisputable right of the working people in company without hindrance to form a union and to bargain collectively with their employer. This right was guaranteed under the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1936, and we need to look very closely at the changes made since then. The U.S. is blessed with tremendous renewable energy potential, enough to meet the entire electrical demand of the country. We call for a commitment of the level of the Manhattan Project to develop clean, renewable energy technologies. We need technologies that will prevent our country from begging for oil from other nations. We advocate fair buybacks of the most polluting and least efficient vehicles to remove them from the road. Corporations should be held strictly liable for the consequences of the pollution they produce. We advocate the creation of a food policy council composed of farmers, including small farmers and consumers, to oversee the USDA and all food policies at the local, state, and national level. We also call for action to protect our forests. We need to stop building logging roads for lumber companies in national forests at taxpayers' expense. The federal government doles out billions in subsidies and tax breaks to corporate and special interests. The current level of influence now being exerted by corporate interests over the public interest is unacceptable. We call for a policy that moves to eliminate loopholes and other exemptions that favor powerful interests. Small business, and the self-employed in particular, should not be penalized by a tax system that benefits those who can influence the legislative tax committees for breaks and subsidies. A central goal of tax policy should be transparent, a system that is simple, understandable, and resistant to the schemes of special interests. We also propose raising corporate taxes. The corporate share of taxes has fallen from 33% in the 1940s to 7% today, while the individual share, the share that you and I pay, has risen from 44% to 85%. In order to begin a transition to a system providing sustainable livelihood, we suggest supporting the small business by reducing tax, fee, and bureaucratic burdens. The majority of new jobs today are created by small business. The Green Party supports technology, particularly new industrial applications and developments in the area of advanced communications, alternative energy, non-toxic battery technology, and waste management. Let us go forward with the government and civilian space programs, environmental sampling and monitoring, systems testing, laser communications, and high-speed computers. This is just a sampling of the things that the Green Party of Arkansas America supports and would like to see change. Is this any different from what you believe and support? I think most of us can get behind the things I've talked about today. My name is Deb McFarland, and I would appreciate you voting for me for United States Congress. Thank you.